All right, let's start off. Good afternoon from Sydney. Hello, everybody. My name is Hassan. I'm your Learning and Development Manager, and welcome to the seventh session of Club Excel. Today, we're going to talk about conditional formatting. And for all of those who have still not opened up the Excel file, please go back to your invite. The example file number 7 is already attached there. You can open it up and keep it open in your second screen, or you're working on your single screen, keep it open on that. I understand some people are still working from home, so I will be going slow, keeping that in mind because we need to switch between the two screens. All right, let's get started. So we've done the sound check, screen check. If everybody, let's do this exercise. Raise your hand if you can still hear me, because I was playing music. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. That's a fast response. All right, so we have a very engaged audience. You can hear me. You can see my screen. All right, you can put your hands down. Thank you. Right, so this is how you're going to do it. What is Club Excel? If somebody who is joining in new, it's basically very simple. You know how trainings are meant to be. Orthodox trainings are supposed to be for a full day or 3 hours or whatever, and what you do is you retain very less. That's what research shows. So what we are doing is we're doing bite-sized learning. We're going to cover beginners and intermediates. It's an pragmatic tailored learning, so it's recorded for later reference. Basically, it's one thing that we cover on Excel in every month in 45 minutes. And once we have that covered, you get the rest of the month to practice what we do, what we've learned, and then you can really specialize in that particular area. That's it. So we do one thing in a month. We go with the problem issue sort of a scenario always. And then let's talk about our challenge statement today. How do we make meaning from a raw data to take effective decisions? Now, Excel is raw data. How do we make meaning from it to be able to take decisions off of it? So there are many ways to do that in Excel. You already know filters. There are pivot tables. We did it in the last session. If somebody's missed it out, send me an email. I'll send you the recording. Graphs and charts. Now, these are the few things which really help you make sense of the data. So you can actually see what's going on and see the summary picture and take decisions on top of it. But then there is an additional sort of a thing that we're going to cover today, which is going to help us do that, and that is conditional formatting. All right. So in the comms that we sent out, there were the comms was the top 10 things that we will cover today, and these are the top 10 things we're going to cover about conditional formatting with numbers, text, dates, duplicates, top bottom percentage, color scales, data bars, icon sets, and advanced rules. Now this is for intermediate learners. And some of the things also, but mostly we're going to cover from the beginner's perspective. But hey, if you have not touched conditional formatting in Excel ever, then this is something that is going to super help you out, especially if you're dealing with a lot of data. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start off with numbers. I'm going to pull up the Excel sheet here. All right. So if everybody can open up the Excel file number 7, example 7, and open up to the introduction worksheet and raise your hand if you're with me. Great. Awesome. So now let me just zoom in. I'm going to try doing some. First of all, let me just show you where conditional formatting really is. Conditional formatting is basically on the home ribbon. You see this? This is conditional formatting. It's always going to be there. It's as you can see, Excel defines it as easy spot trends and patterns in your data using colors, bars, icons, visually highlights, and important values. So let's get started. Let's go straight into doing stuff rather than theory. I'll just go into practice. Now, imagine this is data and you have some, so we're just going to cover this. Yeah, we're just focusing on this right now. We're not going to talk about these. We cover them one by one. So this is your data that you've received. Right now, this looks like a good sort of a trend, but usually it's weird numbers. Now, this is the data. And what I want is I want to do a greater, smaller difference. So let me just go into conditional formatting, highlight cells, and I will go into the first one, greater than. Okay. It opens up a dialog box which says format cells that are greater than 55 and do this. Now I can change this number. I can change it to say 25, and I can change this to anything that I want. I will say green fill with dark green text. So all the numbers greater than 25, fill them with this color. Okay, as you can see, it's already done that. All right, so if I was to change this number, let's say I make it to 20, it's gone. So the conditional formatting is gone. Now this comes in especially if you're dealing with bigger data. You don't need to do this. I'm just explaining this to you. So these are 100 entries in the bigger data. And I'm going to go into conditional formatting, greater than, and I want to see that 70 is my number, and I want to do a yellow fill. Okay, here we go. So all the numbers above 70 have been highlighted. Okay, all right, let's go back to introduction. So we have seen the greater than. The key is to select data first. Let's do it again together. Numbers A, select the data. We're going to go into here. Now, I've already put up a rule, so I'm going to clear the rules first. So clear rules, clear from entire sheet. Gone, the rule is gone. So let me select the numbers, conditional formatting, highlight cells. Now I'm going to go less than, okay? This time it's less than. I'm going to go less than, and my cutoff point is, let's say, 60. Okay, there you go. All the numbers below 60 are covered in red. If I change a number, it just changes automatically. Voila. All right, so now let's try out the third thing. Before we do that, let's clear our rules. So clear the rules from the entire sheet or selected cells. It's the same thing for us right now. So cleared the rules, right? So let me just select it, conditional formatting, highlight, and this time we've seen the greater than, we've seen less than, and now we're going to see between. Now this is awesome. We're going to, the number it already gives is 33 and 78. Basically, it just calculates the percentile and gives us the 33 and the 66 percentile. But what we're doing is, let's say our numbers are 20 and 90, okay? And I want it colored into red text only. There you go. So if you notice, all these colors are in red. This one is black, 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 because this does not come inside that category. Now let's go again in the bigger one. I'll clear the rule. And let me just try doing the same thing here. Conditional formatting, highlight cells between. I want to know that 50, between 50 and 100 to be highlighted in green. Okay, here we go. All the numbers are highlighted in green between 50 and 90. Okay. All right, so we're done with the first one. The numbers. Please raise your hand if you're with me, and then we can go to the next one. All right, thank you very much. Let's go on to text. Now, text, we are going to talk about this one. I've just taken an example of days here. So let me just select, first, let me clear the rules so that it does not impact anything. I've cleared the rules. There are no rules right now. And I'm going to select the text, conditional formatting, highlight cells, and text that contains this one. All right, so I'm going to click into that, and it automatically gives me the first one, but I can change it. So let's say I want Saturday, and okay, now everywhere it says Saturday. This is just one entry. Let me just change this one to Saturday, and there you go. It's basically following the same route and just doing the same highlights as we go along. Now, let me just go here and try something. Now, again, I'm trying it out. The best thing you can do with Excel is to try out stuff and keep trying it. So something just occurred to me. What if I want to say that these are the names, yeah? So there is one person, Bernardo, but there is another person whose name is Bernard, okay? And there is the third person whose name is Bernardine, okay? Now I'm just laying out, these three are similar names. Let's see if this works out in this. So I've first of all, I could add a new rule, but right now I just want to test this one out. So I'm going to clear the rules. I'm going to select all of these, conditional formatting, highlight text that contains, and I'm going to say Berna. Okay, let's see if this calculates it. Yep, it has. So what it has done is basically taken a piece of that text and also followed the same rule. Okay, let me just try one more thing. Now, I'm going to adjust this rule that I've already set. So here you go. I'm not going to create a new rule, clear rule. I'm going to manage rules, okay? What I'm going to do is, this is, when I click on this, it'll show me all the rules that are already there. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to say, sorry, edit rule containing, see, I wrote Berna. Now I'm going to remove B, and let's see if it searches the middle part of any text. Okay, you don't have to do it, but let's see. Apply. Okay, so the rule is still applying. Now if I had somebody say turn, what was the rule? It was ERNA, ERNA. Okay, so if I had somebody called Turna, there you go. It is also taking in the middle part of any text. So it doesn't matter where ERNA lies. If ERNA is in that word or in that text, it will highlight it. Okay, done. So we are done with the text. Please raise your hands if you're with me, and we can move forward. Great. Thank you very much. Let's move forward. Let's go on to dates. Let's talk about dates. Now, I'm going to clear the rules first. Okay. Now, these are the dates. I've just taken an example. If you notice that these are dates, these are not text or anything else. So let's see how we can format it. Highlight cells, a date occurring. Now, this is awesome. You can go yesterday, today, tomorrow, last 7 days, last week, this week, next week, last month, this month, next month. Let's say last 7 days, and I want it in green. Okay. So nothing is there which comes into last 7 days because we are sitting on the 20th of August. So I'm going to change this one to 20th of August, and let's see what happens. There you go. And if I change this to the 21st, 23rd of August, sorry, it has to be last 7 days. So 18th of August, There you go. So this is really, really nice. What it does is basically um, it helps out. Let's say this one, I will go and say a date occurring. This is just to show you, and I want next week, let's say next month, and I want it in yellow. I could do anything. Yeah, I could go into custom format and I can select my fill, orange, and whatever. Let me just try this one out. Okay. So the next month is all highlighted already. Here you go. So all of next month is highlighted, September, and I can now look at my data visually. And this is just to show you how in bigger data sort of you get this, use this conditional formatting to make decisions. Okay, so that's the date. Very, very simple, nothing major. It's a no-brainer, but if you haven't used it, there's another tool that you can. All right, you know what to do if you want me to move on. All right, awesome. So now we've practiced it, and you're conditioned to raise your hand every time you know that we need to move forward. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on and let's talk about duplicates. Now, there are a lot of ways in Excel to find out and remove duplicates. All right, we will let's cover the basic part of it. Let me just see. All right. So I will take the text again for this. Let me just take this one. Now, the easiest, simplest way to, if you want to remove text duplicates, is to go into data and go into remove duplicates right here. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I don't want to remove it. I want to be highlighted if it's a duplicate. How do I do that? I select this, go into conditional formatting. I go into duplicate values, and there you go. Because Tuesday and Saturday are repeated twice, it just shows as highlighted. So, and if I change this to Friday, no, sorry, it'll again be highlighted. If I say my name, it will not be highlighted. So the Saturday is gone and Tuesday are the only ones highlighted. What is the use of this purpose? You don't have to do it, just watch please. If I go into the bigger data and I clear all the rules, and what I do is I say, all right, these are the names of the people, but I just want to make sure that there is no duplicates. Okay, so everybody is a duplicate here except for Bernardine, Turner, which I changed a while back, Cole, Tonya, Aileen, and myself. So these are the only ones. Now if I was to say, there is another thing that I can use, and let me just clear it out, clear the rules. Now I want to find out only those which are not duplicates, which are uniques. Again, same way, duplicate value. Here, I can select uniques and I'll say, okay. So now it's given me the exact opposite. So Hassan, Aileen, Cole, Tonya, and all right. So if you have a database in which you need to check whether some names are repeated and some entries are repeated by mistake, you can actually put this conditional formatting and you can test it out whether it has or it has not. Okay. So that's the duplicate and the unique. It's pretty much simple, so we're not going to spend too much time. All right. So who wants to go forward? Great. Thank you very much for that. Let's go forward. Let's talk about the top and the bottoms. Now, sometimes when you have data and you really want to understand, uh, what is happening, what are the trends, and what are the top threes or maybe the tops, right? So I'm going to go into this. I'm going to clear the rules first. All right. So I'm going to go into this, the numbers B column, and I'm going to say these are my numbers. What I want is I want to know what are the top three numbers out of this. Now, this is a smaller data, just for check. We're going to test it out in the bigger data as well. So I'm going to go into the top bottom rules right here, and it gives me top 10 and items. I'm going to click on that. Now, because I don't want top 10, I want top 3. I can toggle it and give it, say, top 3, and I want it in green. Okay, so you see, if you notice that 80, 90, and 100 were the top. So if I was to change this one to, let's say, 95, then you see 80 is now gone, 95 is colored, 90 is colored, and 100 is colored. Application of this one, let's go into the bigger data. I have these salespeople who've done this much sales, blah, blah, blah. I select it and I say, all right, I'm gonna just see who are my top 3 sales performers, and there you go. You got your top 3: 171 with Todd, Isabel 165, and 169 Marcia. Without even going inside the numbers, you already know these are your top 3 sales that have happened in previous months or whatever. But you know the drill, right? So now, similarly, I'm just going to cover up the bottom as well in this. So I'm going to clear the rule. I'm going to select all the numbers. Now this is very, very crucial, all right? Selecting the numbers are very, very crucial. Top, bottom, I'm going to say bottom 10, but then I can reduce it to, let's say 5, okay? So the bottom 5, here you go. These are my non-performing sales numbers, and I can then make a call out, have conversations, see what was the problem, and then go from there. So this was a simple look at top bottoms, and because we are doing the top bottoms, I'm just going to cover top bottoms in terms of percentage as well. So I'm just going to use the big data and clear out the formulas, and you know where we are heading with this. Top bottom percentage is, I select the data and I say top 10% or top 5%. Okay, so instead of numbers, I'm taking out the top 5%. These are my top 5% sales. Similarly, I can manage the rule, edit the rule, and instead of here, I can say top 50%. These are my top 50% numbers which are highlighted. The others are below 50%. Again, I don't need to create a new rule. I can just go into manage rules, and I need to be here to be able to manage the rule. Edit the rule. I can say bottom 50%, format red. Okay, done. It's done the reverse. It selected all the bottom 50% of the numbers. Now, again, if you have a product line and some of the products are not selling or selling too much, you can actually look at your inventory and look at the data here, and you say, hey, which products are underselling or which products are overselling. Let's look at the bottom 20% of the products which are not selling at all and work out their inventory. Right, so there you have it. We have done the top bottoms and the top bottoms percentage, and if you are okay with that, please raise your hand on your panel and we can then move forward. Awesome, thank you very much. All right, let's move forward. What's the next one? We have color scales. Now I like this a lot, but then I'm a little OCD about this. So sorry about that. You'll have to bear with my OCD a little bit. I'm gonna clear out first the rules. Okay, here we go. Now, before we do that, let me just touch quickly on the average part as well. There is an average part of conditional formatting. Let me just go here. I selected these numbers. I go here. go into above average and below average. Now, average is basically all the numbers, addition of all the numbers, sum of all the numbers divided by the total number. So let's say the average of this all is 55. Can you see here? Now, average 55, count 10, sum 550. So total 550 divided by 10 is equal to 55. So the average is 55. If I was to put in a conditional formatting of top, bottom, above average, now all numbers above 55 will be colored and all numbers below 55 will not be colored. Okay, so that's quickly we've covered up the average one as well. And let's go into the color scales. Now we look at the color scales in the bigger data. I will clear the screen, clear the rules. Now that you know how we're playing around, so I can now work on the bigger data without working on the smaller data. Let me do color scales. Now color scales are awesome. They give out a visual appeal, visual look of what is the trend, how is the data going. Okay, so here you go. There is this, if you go into conditional formatting, color scales, you have these different colors that you can play around with. Okay, so let's take the first one. So what it basically does is it takes the bigger numbers are dark green, the smallest number will be bright red, and something in between will be the yellow and the orange and the shades of each. Okay, so starting from dark green to dark, ending with dark red. And then, so what it does is basically it gives you a really nice sort of a look and feel of what is happening, what is the trend like, where is the data going. I can also change, let me just select it and clear the rules first and go into color scales. The other one is reverse. It shows from red to green with yellow in the middle. This one is green to red with white in the middle. This one is green to red, red to green with white in the middle, blue and other colors. This one is yellow and green, two colors. These are three colors and these are two colors. You can also put in your own thing. What I love to use is I love to use either this one or this one. So these are two of my favorites. What it does is basically it highlights the biggest number in dark green and the other numbers left white. Or if I'm looking at the low performers, then I go into this one. So my lowest numbers are in red, bright red, and the highest numbers are left in white. So these are the two numbers, two colors I deal with, but you're free to use however you choose to. And this is how you do color scales. Now, if you're okay with that, we can move forward. Please raise your hand and we're gonna go into the next one. Okay, thank you very much. Let's go into data bars. Let me just open up Excel. All right. So data bars are fairly similar to color scales, but these are, let's see what they can do. So we select the data, we go into data bars, and here you go. Now data bars are like charts, but they are within the cell. So you can actually see how things are within the cell. And then if I zoom out, you can actually see a whole sort of a trend going on. If I increase this column size, it becomes like an automatic graph, but it's for the entire sheet. And if, let's say, I change this number to an obnoxiously large number, then you can see an outlier. Okay, here you go. You can actually see this outlier. If I change this to, let's say, another outlier, here you go. There's something missing, which means it's a very low number. And this is how you use the data bars. Now, let's see how many different colors we can use. First, let's clear the rules. Let's go into data bars. We can use different colors. The solid fills are solid, and gradients are the ones which start dark and end in light. So they are starting dark and they are ending in light. And you can, now the best visualization of a data chart is, data bar is to have the column, the row sort of become a little bigger, the column make it a little bigger so that you can actually see the impact. Okay, so it's visually you can actually see what is happening and where it is happening. Okay, so that's a little bit about data bars, and I think we'll just cover up the data icons in the same way. I'm going to clear the rules from the entire sheet, and let's look at icons. So I'm going to use this last one and go here, select it, icon sets. Now, if you've noticed, if you've watched any business channel and you've seen the stock tickers at the bottom, now this is something that you can actually use. And if I select the first one, what it does is basically it just selects the top ones. I think what it's an auto rule, but we can edit that. Let me see if I can do it. I'll go into manage rules and icon set. Now I'm editing it. I've double clicked on it. So what it is basically doing is 67%, above 67%, it is giving a green icon. Between 67 to 33% is giving a yellow icon, and less than say 33% is giving a red icon. But I can change it. I can change it to less than 50, give me red, and then more than 80, give me green, and between 80 to 50, keep it yellow. And apply, and the numbers are changed completely. Now I have a few greens, and I have many reds, and so on. Now, if I was to put a filter on it, again, I don't know if this will work, but you never know. You don't find out unless you test it out. So, oh yeah, there you go. So there is a filter. What I've done is I've added filters, and I can now filter by icon sets. And I can do filter by red ones. I can do filter by green ones and filter by the yellow ones. Okay, so if you're okay with, let me just do one more thing. I'll clear all the formatting first, clear the rules, and I'm going to go into icon sets. Now, there are different ones. These are flags, these are rights and wrongs, and then these are stars, star ratings, circles, mobile phone signals, Wi-Fi signals, and then these 4 boxes, the 5 boxes. You can use any one of those, however you feel like. I prefer to use either this one or this one or this one. Okay, it keeps it cleaner. I don't really like the flags. I think these dots just do the purpose for me. These ones I don't necessarily, I don't like multicolors a lot to keep it consistent, but you are free to choose however you feel like, and you can play around with more rules and just play around with the data. Okay, so if you're okay with that, please raise your hand and we will go move forward. Great, thank you very much. Now, let's move on to advanced rules, and here some of our intermediate learners can join in if they were feeling left out. And this is, so what I've done is, if you can open up your Excel file to the raw data, okay. Now, thanks to David and Naileen, thank you so much for sending across a few things. Now I've taken this raw data. It's gibberish, but I'm just gonna make sense of it. All right. So if you remember our first few sessions, before I go and clean the data, before I do a data analysis, I need to clean the data. And how do I do that? Is the first thing I do is, if I've downloaded this raw file, it looks something similar to this. So what the first thing I'll do is I will clean the grid lines. I will select the heading and make it, sorry, I'll select the heading, make it yellow and bold and center. I will make sure that all of my widths are solid. I will probably add, okay, these are 1,000 entries. I will add my own borders and on the top as well. So now I have a good clean looking data. And now I will go into solving and finding out, analyzing my data. So now for the advanced learners, I'm just gonna throw out a problem, okay? Now I'm doing an analysis and it's an ongoing analysis, and what I need to do is I wanna find out which product, uh, highlight the products wherever automotive is. In the product items, you see there's different products here. So if you, what I want to do is I want to highlight everywhere it says automotive. So what I can do is I can select this whole entire cells, conditional formatting, can go into new rule, use a formula to determine which cell to format. Okay, I'm gonna say click here. I'm gonna go back to, it's gonna take me a while, so I'm gonna do page up, and I want for this cell, and if you see, notice the dollar signs, I'm gonna remove those dollar signs because I don't want it fixed. Is when this cell is equal to whatever I put here, then format my cell and give me yellow. Okay, so automotive is written here. Let me just, automotive, all the automotives are highlighted in my data. Okay, if I was to change this to belts, watch, all my belts are highlighted. Okay, if I was to change this to tools, all my tools are highlighted. But now that is good, but it's not really great, because what I need to do is I need to be able to see the whole line instead of just this one text. Yeah, just this one highlighted. If this is tools, then I want the entire line to be highlighted. How do we do that? It's fairly simple. I will clear the rules first. Okay, I'm going to select the entire thing, and I'm going to just do it in the first 100. I don't want to go back and forth, so I'm going to just do it till here. I'm going to say conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, and I will say this one. I'll select the entire, sorry, the entire column wherever till I want it. I'm going to remove the dollar sign, but keep it, sorry. I'm going to keep the dollar sign before the D because I want the D to be fixed, the D column, but I'm going to take out the dollar sign before the number. So I'm going to keep D as constant, but not the number, the row. Okay. So $D3, $D85, $D3 to 85. I'm going to keep it constant, and I want it to be, let's say, blue. Okay. And I say, okay. Okay. There's some, oh yeah, the formula, I haven't put in the full formula. So I want this whole thing, and my formula is equal to this, and okay, now here you go. So every time there's tools occurring, it highlights the entire row. Okay, we've done it till 85. I can change that easily. All I need to see is the last number of this. These are some of the tricks I use. One's 002. So I go into manage rules, and instead of this 85, 1002, I can change it here. Okay, and there you go. It's all there. So now it's applied to the entire data. So everywhere it says tools, it's highlighted the entire thing. Okay, there you go. Now, if I was to do, I know I went a little faster, so I'm going to repeat the whole thing, but I'm going to repeat it now with a different column altogether. So I'm going to do regions. Yeah, so I have these different regions, and I'm going to do a conditional formatting similar way in those regions. There you go. I'm going to clear out the rules, and I'm going to the first thing I'll do is select the entire place, entire thing. And I'm going to say conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, click here. I'm going to say B3. I don't want 3 to be locked, so I'm going to remove the $sign. And then I'm going to say, I'm just going to code it, colon, dollar B1002, which means the entire B, so dollar is restricting it to B, and then 3 to 1002, which is the last one of this. And I want it formatted into green. Okay. And my formula is when this is equal to the thing I will write here. Okay. Okay. So now whatever I write here, it will highlight that in the entire data. So if I was to say Europe, watch, there you go. All Europe, entire lines are highlighted. Okay. And if I was to change it to Asia, there you go. Easy as. So if I was to say there is, these are the, instead of the regions, these were names of the salespeople. So go back into the bigger data. I'm going to clear out the rules. Okay. And I'm going to say, I'm going to select this first. So the first thing to do is select the entire thing. Conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, and my formula is this row, this column, sorry. And I'm going to remove the $sign from, okay, I just cancel, new rule, use a formula. You have to be it's a little tricky to remove the $sign. So I would recommend if you click here and do F4, it'll keep changing. Okay, let me try it again. It's a little tricky, I know, we'll get there. So the first thing to do is select the entire data, conditional formatting, new rule, use a formula, click here, select this, remove the $sign carefully in front of the number, format, orange, okay, okay, oh, sorry. And I'm gonna put in equals, let me say this one, whatever I put in M4 should be highlighted. So M4 is where I need to put in. So let's say I want to see how much Marcia has done. There you go. Marcia is now highlighted, and I can now figure out what is happening in Marcia's numbers. Similarly, if I want Lynn, easy as. This is super simple way of using conditional formatting to make sense of your data. So if you have understood the last one, the last part of advanced conditional formatting, please raise your hand so we can move towards closing. All right, awesome. Thank you very much. So we've done the 10 ways of doing conditional formatting, including advanced. So now we're just going to look at a shortcut of this month, and the shortcut for this month is Control plus H. What this does is it helps you find stuff and replace stuff. So for example, I'm going to take this raw data, I'm going to clear out all the formatting, okay, and I'm going to say I put in pushes. I put in the country Japan was inserted wrongly. Okay, and I want to change all Japans here into Singapore. So how do I do that? I do Control H, and it opens up this one, and I say Japan, find Japan, and replace it with Singapore. And I say replace all. There were 8 replacements made. Okay, close. There is no Japan now. It's all Singapore. Okay, all of this is quickly changed. It's a 1-second job, and you've done it with Control H. Again, let me just do it one more time. My priority codes have changed, so all of my M's, because I'm working in a limited capacity in terms of one alphabet only. I'm going to select the column, the whole column which I want. Control H, and I'm going to say M is now going to be W. 242 replacements, close. All M's are now gone. They are now W's. All right. So that was our shortcut of the month. And now we have our feedback, the last part of it. While you're doing that, I'm just going to recap. We have done conditional formatting, in numbers, in text. We've done dates, duplicates, top, bottom percentage, color scales, data bars, icon sets, and then we have done some advanced rules for the finding out the various lines and individually as well. So if you have uh, if you've liked this session, and if you have some feedback, we would love to hear it. This helps us make things better, and we are constantly working on by the way, there is you guys are the first ones to find out there's something very, very exciting I've been working on. So pretty soon, probably next week, you're going to find out something which is coming up. It's similar to Club Excel, but a lot more. It's very much it's a lot more exciting and diversified. So we're going to launch that out, and keep an eye out on that. And thank you very much. And that is our time. If those who do have some questions, I will stick around. You can stick around too. And for everybody else, thank you very much and goodbye.